This is music for the soul.
Caution, please get on your knees. Came from the jungle, up in the trees. I got a few tricks up in the sleeve. One wrong move, I'ma let out the big shoes, check out the crease. Blow like I'm Bigfoot, step on the beat. Make a man's run till he step out the crease. When the whole place scream, gotta get out the
Dime lo que tú quieres de mi coqueta. Es lo que te gusta de salir y se suena. Cuando baila reggaetón pa' mí que muñeca. Me gusta salir y seducir.
Watch me walk away, putting myself on display. 1, 2, 3 a day. I'm on my way, on my way. I'ma have you on tiptoes, watching my diamond afterglow. I know you wanna take me home. I'm on my way, on my way.
I don't need your money, you can pay me in respect. Cause once I do it big, what's to follow is a check. I need 100 bags, nothing more, nothing less. And the ops feel away, cause I'm next, I'm a threat.
There's something new under the sun. You can't take back them things you already done. No. You blame things that you do on somebody else. No. But they all see is you need help. You waste all of your time covering up your tracks. You try so hard, hoping that one day something gon' change.
stop that.
This is music for the soul. This is music for the soul. Let the music take control.
I hear him chat to the noise, move too quick, can't stop for the talking. I hear him chat with the boys, man so tough, but mans keep walking, yeah. Dress too sharp with the prize, white girls, let tell me I'm awesome, yeah. Hot like fire on the pan, if you wanna touch me, please use caution.
OMW, on my way to you. Good at what I do. I'm OMW. OMW, on my way to you. Good at what I do. I'm OMW.
SEO this week, everyone. Welcome to episode 210. It's awesome. As you notice, down in the scroll thing, you got the 800 number up, and it's actually working. So we're going to use that today. If you want to call in live, if you don't want to, no worry about it. Don't have to be shy or anything. But if you want to call in live, when I ask for callers, we go ahead and do it. Bear in mind, I don't have like some super stupid switchboard and a producer answering the calls and all that stuff. I'm not that uppity around here. So it'll be one call at a time, and it'll be when I ask for it, right? So if you want to call in, put it on your speed dial or whatever, and then when I ask for calls, we'll go ahead and knock it out and try it out. The number will be 888-856-1680. 888-85 or 586-1680. Jeez, can't even get my own number right. Just bought it. Give me a break. Let's see. Just waiting for the little scroll thing. There it is. 888-586-1680. That's the number we're going to use. It's going to work out awesome. I have everything, like all the hardware set up. We tested that all out. Unfortunately, I had to wear these stupid over-the-ear earphones. And I can hear myself in them, and it's really annoying. And sometimes I'll flip them off, just so you know. But the biggest thing I don't like about it is it's hot as balls in Arizona right now. And I'm in southern Arizona, in Yuma. If you've never been there, just take it from me. It's hot as balls in Yuma, Arizona. And then you put these stupid things over your ears, and there's no air conditioning inside of them, which would be awesome. I would totally buy those and get that going. It'd be great. So, or as always, if you want to ask your questions in chat, YouTube Live, Facebook, I see your questions automatically inside of my little chat system here, and they'll pop up. Everyone else can read them as well. And other than that, we'll just rock on with the show. As you all remember, change the format a little bit. Got questions that I see comment around the internet, and in particular questions from this week that I saw that are bouncing around everywhere from Facebook to Reddit. Primarily, I find a lot of the questions actually on Reddit. And I'm going to start engaging more on Reddit and building a nice audience over there. Or if anything, just be able to help some people on the Reddit platform. I kind of like it over there. I don't know about you guys, but I'd rather enjoy Reddit over Facebook. One, the memberships police themselves. Two, there's not as much, I don't want to say ego, but there's not as much bringing other people down to see how smart you are, as it were. And I think it's mainly because you can do a lot of, again, because of the user base. And the user base won't stand for that kind of stuff. Obviously, there are some particular groups over there, Reddit, that, if regardless of the leaning of your political thing or whatever, you can get jumped over there in no doubt. But for the most part, it's not as bad as Twitter, in my opinion. And I think I have more fun and is more engaging over than Facebook is. Although, as much as I want to delete my Facebook profile, that place makes me money. So, I'll stay over there as well and engage with users as I can. I'm going in and out of groups and stuff. So, just finding not necessarily the biggest groups, but the groups where there's actually people helping each other out. You know what I mean? So, and I kind of appreciate that. I don't know everything, and when people ask questions that I don't know the answer to, it drives me to actually look that information up, figure it out, and maybe even test it if it's worthwhile. And that's really the value that I get out of being in groups. And the value that I get back is if I know an answer to a question, I actually answer that question. And I noticed a lot of people have getting into the habit of asking questions in response to questions, or offering alternatives to let's say I want to do X, right? And then instead of saying that, well, why don't you just do Y? Instead of answering the question about how to do X, they just jump onto, oh no, this is the solution you really need. And that kind of puts a lot of people, including myself, into analysis paralysis because I'm thinking about the same solution or different solutions, and I have this one problem. Oh, I fixed it, and now I got a new problem because now there's this new solution, and maybe I should have tried that solution, and it gets to be a pain in the rear. Especially when you're like me and you buy a lot of tools and stuff and you want to find the things that are working the best. Often you end up bouncing around significantly. That's why I went from Surfer SEO to cognitive SEO, back to Surfer SEO, and all that stuff in my writing process. And I'm be testing ClearScope here pretty soon. Conversion AI, I got that. I'm trying that out. They combined with Shortify, I think is what the name of it is. Those two got together, and now Conversion AI has a Shortify technology inside of their boss level. But I found another one called Content Villain. And with Content Villain, I can actually take a piece of content and throw it in there and it'll rewrite it, which is kind of cool, right? And it'll do it up to 10,000 words. So if you find like this super duper long article and you're like, I don't want to write all that, but I need to write about that topic because my users want to read about that topic and I'll know I'll get some traffic from the search engine for that topic if I optimize it right. Content Villain. I mean, where can you beat that? Drop 10,000 word article in there and then it'll read it, and now analyze it, and then spit it back out a completely unique version for you that you can clean up and optimize and make perfect for your websites. So it's the same thing with answering questions and providing different solutions for people versus as just answering the damn question that they asked. So that's where this format came from. We're just going to answer the damn question. And if you have more questions, I'll be sure to answer those as well. So hopefully that all works out for everybody. I know I like it. So I know a bunch of people watched it last week, and I got plenty of comments and private messages saying that this thing is good. So if you have questions that you don't want to ask in the chat, and you don't want to call in because you're shy, or you just can't be here live and you would prefer not to ask the question completely in public and just let me choose if I want to answer it or not, that works too. And I'm going to create a form on the SEO This Week page on Digitaleer, so that you can fill that out. So instead of submitting your favorite websites or whatever, or your articles, which honestly I think maybe 3 of you did the entire time that I've run this show, I'm going to have a question section. I may even use What Ranks. I don't know. What Ranks is on a forum system, BuddyPress. It's kind of forum / Facebook-ish, as it were. I'm just not really a fan with it. I might even kill that thing. Hold on a second. All right, had to cough. But for sure, I'll put one on the SEO This Week, and you can just, name, email address, your question. And then if I get a whole bunch of those, or if I get some that are actually particularly cool and I think a bunch of people will enjoy, I'll go ahead and answer those on the show. So that works out. Okay. Question number 1. Is there any SEO benefit to building backlinks that drive no referral traffic? I don't know if I answered this before. I'm sure that I have. I'm sure that I've addressed this question. It just feels like I've answered this question before, or asked this question, or been identified this question. But this question is always there. Everyone is asking it now, and the reason is there's a new trend in the SEO information marketer space that tells people don't bother getting backlinks unless the page is got traffic, and you're going to get traffic from it because those backlinks are more valuable to you because Google sees the traffic going through it and then it counts as more. The problem is there's no real way to identify that, right? So even in a single variable test, we remove everything else, we put a backlink, and then we say, hey, Mechanical Turk people, for example, I want you to go to this site, find this backlink, click on it, and then stay on that page for a little bit, and then we'll see what happens. I think that's as the closest we'd get to it, but we really wouldn't be able to identify does it increased value. I could probably set up another one where I say, hey, Mechanical Turk people, go to this site, and that site will have a backlink to another page, but don't click on any backlinks. Just go there, click around, scroll up and down like 10 times, and then leave the page, and you're good. And those are two ways that I can test that whole referral traffic concept. Okay. Is traffic a good filter? Let's say you're buying guest posts, for example, or you're debating on being a contributing author. If you're in the SEO space, contributing author to Search Engine Journal, or SEMrush, or maybe even Moz. You get invited to come over there, and you think about the value that those sites have from an SEO perspective, and they have traffic, they have tons of rankings. So inevitably, if you get a link on them, it may or may not result in traffic, but you know that Google trusts this website. And in my opinion, I think that that the traffic benefit of a backlink is the potential of it, and how much traffic is this website making, and how many keywords is it ranking for, which indicates to me the trust of the website where I'm trying to get the backlink from. And this is just for tier ones. Tier twos on down, I could care two birds less, right? But tier ones, I want sites that are ranking, that have trust, and that are naturally getting traffic from organic. And we can only guesstimate that with tools. So you got Ahrefs, SEMrush, Majestic, Moz, Cognitive SEO, or what's another one? Link Assistant, SEO Spyglass. We can see sort of kind of what's going on. And so I use keywords that are ranked on that said specific website. I look at traffic. Does it actually have traffic? Because that means it's ranking for keywords that potentially should generate traffic for this website. And that's a trust indicator. So now this website is considered trustworthy by Google. Ergo, if I have a link from this website, I'm better off, right? So that's kind of how I would answer this question. Is there an SEO benefit if I'm not getting referral traffic? Definitely an SEO benefit. Would you get more? I won't, like, mathematically, there's no way we can measure that unless somebody leaks the Google search algorithm, in particular PageRank, and see how they process passing juice from one page to another via links. We would never know that. But if a website has traffic and the website has rankings and you get a backlink from it, even if it's from a brand new page, there's some inherent trust that that site has earned. And because that site is trusted, the backlink would theoretically have more value. And that's how I would go on this. Let's see. Elton Musa, how deep do you usually go on tiered links? I kind of asked for that one, didn't I? Usually 3 or 4, just depending. I would typically say 4. I do it in a specific way. Like I said, I'll never teach that, but I do my tiered link building in a specific way, and it requires 4. I know people that go up like 6 and 10. I think that's just dumb. 4 is I think 4 is probably in this case overkill, but because of what I am doing, I need to do 4. But anything more than that, you're just kind of playing the 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon game. If you don't know what that is, Google it. All right, let's go next question. The title of the episode here: how long does SEO take for new pages? There has been, I don't know what's going on. Google has been getting this question a lot. John Mueller's been getting this question a lot. Neil Patel did a post on this. Well, Neil Patel's writers and content editors, they did a post on this. And I've seen this a lot inside of not only Facebook, but Reddit and Twitter as well. How long does SEO take for new pages? And the inevitable answer to this question is always going to be, it depends. And I know that people, especially in the SEO community, kind of laugh at that because it's always, it depends. And unfortunately, it does. So if Elton Musa is, and he's one of the listeners, by the way, if Elton Musa is there and he's an advanced SEO, he's got a, he's going to make a new page, which is what the crest of this was new pages. How long should new pages take? Elton's an advanced SEO. He does content optimization. He does his internal linking. He does his schema. He optimizes the page using the standardized on-page techniques. Maybe he goes a little crazy and does some Cora stuff or some Page Optimizer Pro and fits a little bit of those recommendations and stuff. And he does good keyword research. Elton, as an advanced SEO, is probably going to get on page 2, maybe even page 1, with a brand new web page, 12, 24 hours, depending on indexing. That's how fast that is, right? But if Everhard Strauss, another longtime listener, is doing it, and let's say Everhard's basic, he just started out with SEO. He's been listening to Moz and Search Engine Journal and that hack Roger Monte, and he thinks that if I write high quality content and I publish it on my website, I'm going to get Google traffic because Google's going to see that I'm not doing anything shady and I'm not doing anything black hat and I'm not building links. And Everhard is going to wait probably 48, 72 hours if he's lucky for that page to get indexed. If he's lucky. More often than not, he's going to go, why is my page not indexed like a week later? And just to not get it because the content is just not there. And I would, 24 to 48 and 48 to 72 hours, those are kind of subjective, right? So even if you're brand new, you know that you have to build your website and you put it in Search Console Analytics. And when I make new pages, and I'm going to put it inside of Inspector Tool, the Inspector Tool is going to put my website into the Search Console database, and then it might put it into the search engine, the search results index. Okay, but it might not necessarily rank it, and that would probably be the difference between Elton, the advanced, and Everhard, the rookie, is the ability to not only get it indexed, but to get it ranked. And I think that's kind of the crust of this question. How long does it take? How long does SEO take for new pages? And it's how long does SEO take for new pages to get them ranked? And in particular on page 1 in Google. What's another factor? So we have experience levels. We have content optimization factors. How well you do that, how well you have a process in there to not only get it written, but to have it outlined and have it outlined in such a way that it meets the search intent that Google's math is being taught to look for. How much optimization does the other sites have? You know what I mean? Okay, so there's another factor. Another one is, who are you going up against? If you're going up against an 800-pound gorilla, it's going to take you a long ass time to get in there, especially if you're in a search result that has a whole bunch of 800-pound gorillas, right? It's just going to take you a long time. You're going to expend some money building backlinks and writing content and doing supporting pages and all that stuff that will just going to take some time, long time. Another factor is the niche. If you go into payday loans, you're going to take forever. There's people in there that have websites that have been getting backlinks for 10 years, and they're barely in the bottom of page 1. Adult, you're gonna have problems. Casino, you're gonna have problems. Rehab, you're gonna have problems. Real estate, you're gonna have problems. But if you're doing the next launch jacking, because Jean Jean Pappas, he just created this brand new course on how to mow your lawn in the most effective way without using gas. You know what I mean? You create a page like that, you're going to be in there forever because it's a launch check. It's quick. There's specific words, review, bonus, that kind of stuff that you go after when you're doing a launch checking, and that makes it easier. So the niche in the market, that also comes into effect. So that's why an SEO will tell you it depends. It's not because we're hemming and hawing. Well, sometimes we are. But for the most part, if you're a small business owner and you go up and ask an SEO, well, how long is it going to take? If they tell you a week, 30 days, you need to go find yourself another SEO. Unless they know that you're already kind of there and they just got to, pink you a couple bit. But most real SEOs are going to tell you you're looking at 3 to 6 months to rank. And let's say you're in a local market, you're looking at paying $750 to $1,500 a month for that 3 to 6 months to start getting some rankings in there. For your primary terms, you go in, if you're going for something else, DUI lawyer, Los Angeles, you're going to be spending some more money and you're going to be taking some more time. But if you're in Yuma, Arizona, and you're a plumber, $750, $1,500, 3 to 6 months, I get you up there pretty good. There's decent competition here, believe it or not. It's a city of 100,000. We get the imports and exports from up north that come in here and compete for the local business. So yeah, 3 to 6 months it's a good one. If you're a rehab's going to take a while. Like I worked on a website, 2-3 years. But the owner's focus was local. So we ranked the local stuff, and then we started messing around with the blog stuff, and the blog stuff just wasn't tracking in, right? Versus I got a network of 700 of them now that we're working on, and that's, it's going to take a while to get all of those pushing and doing the right things. And then get another one that's a bigger site. It's a bigger directory, and that's going to take a while. Though, ergo, in my defense, they were getting 38,000 visitors a month and then decided to redesign their website, change all the URLs, and lost all their traffic. So, duh. But, it just happens. It's just something that happens in our world. It's something that we deal with. And that's why when you ask as a client, how long is this going to take? You're going to get, it depends from a smart SEO. Because it just does. And it's going to take some time to figure it out which solutions are, or which position your website's in for that particular answer. Ooh, long-winded. I talk too much sometimes. It's a good thing this is a show, podcast, where you guys get to listen to me. Let's see here. Question number 3. I got 6 of these, by the way, so... my blog posts hosted aren't getting any organic traffic from Google. I was wondering if republishing them as in on Medium would be a good idea. This is parasite SEO. This is essentially it's the definition there of a parasite SEO. You got a brand new brand, brand new website, and you want to you need traffic. You need traffic faster. So I like using parasite SEO for 2 things. One, to establish the identity, or this is what this is the business, and I'm establishing the identity of that said business. And this was more important for affiliate than it is for local business, because local business, you establish the entity by creating the GMP. But inside of in an affiliate or a national space or whatever, where you don't want to leverage a GMB, you're going to have to do other things, and that's kind of where this comes into place. So I would say that you got a brand new website and you want to build this power up. You don't want to be doing this, i.e. republishing the entire article on Medium. That being said, I haven't been in there a while, but I'm pretty sure you can set the canonical inside of Medium. So you can actually republish an article inside of Medium and then set the canonical and say this is the original article. And that canonical, in theory, will send link power to the original post. You also could link to the original post within this article when you're republishing on Medium. It's in the early days. I wouldn't recommend 100% copying it. Maybe get in there and summarize it a little bit better, lean it out a little bit, and then say, for more detailed information, check out this site and link to you. And you'll probably get a little bit better out of that. So with Medium, you'll get the eyes, you'll get the natural ranking boost that website has earned, and potentially the traffic, which ergo will boost your original content. While at the same time, you're not writing all new content, you're just summarizing your original content on the Medium and putting it into a format that those readers are used to looking at, and then being able to rank your own webpage eventually based off the cumulative backlinks and traffic that come to it. So I would go with that route. And that'll make it a whole lot better than versus just copying it over and depending solely on the canonical. Because anyone will tell you the canonical's Google, it's almost a hint at this point, right? So be careful. Okay, next one. I'm new to this thing, and I'm looking for a tool which can list some keywords people usually use when searching online for a specific thing. Is there such a tool available? Kind of a basic question, but it's one that I've actually started seeing around a lot. And there's the answer is yes. There's tons of them. So anywhere from the Google keyword research tool to Answer the Public to Ask AI, Ask Me, or is it Ask Me? I think also Asked, which I think is now kind of shut down because they want to monetize it because they created this great tool. Everyone's using it, using all the resources. It made it expensive, but it's there. To Google Trends. So you can use all that stuff as part of your keyword research process where you're continuing keyword research on existing content to identify what people are searching for. One cool hack. You make a page. You wrote it. You're using Page Optimizer Pro, Surfer, Quora, whatever. You optimize your content. Let it sit there for 2 to 3 months and just let it rank and get the traffic and build some backlinks and stuff. Don't mess with it. Don't go changing things. And then go into Search Console. And inside of Search Console, you'll notice that you can actually click on the URL for that page and you set that filter. Then you click Queries and it'll show you all the keywords that Google is sending traffic to or showing inside of the SERPs. Well, not all, but it'll show a nice significant amount. There's another way to find out what people are searching for. And then you can go back in there and there's some theories to it. You can add those in schema or you can add those to the content if it's relevant, and you'll actually do really, really, really good with it. Okay? So, yeah, there's tons of tools. I think maybe I'll do supplemental videos showing some of those things. But my favorite really for that is Search Console and Google Trends. And you set up alerts and all that stuff inside of Google Trends, specifically if you're niche down. If you're niche down, that stuff's easy. Set up all those alerts, you get it sent to you, and you'll be off to the races. All right. My client does not have a sitemap reference in the robots.txt file. They do have one, i.e. a sitemap, but I know it's not in the robots file. Is this an issue? Technically, it's not an issue, assuming that you've actually submitted the sitemap to Search Console. However, best practices say that you should have it in there because every time the Google bot goes to your website, it's going to read the robots.txt. It's going to find out if it's allowed there or if there's any robots rules set up, etc. And then you want it to find the sitemap because when you publish new stuff, that's where the first place is going to look. You're going to have the site. It's going to go there. It's going to index it, and you're publishing once a week, and you don't have the sitemap there, and Google doesn't know that you did it. And it has to rely on finding that from internal linking, maybe, or from a backlink or whatever. Versus if you had it in your robots.txt, it's already there. It goes, it finds a list, it knows, hey, I was here last year. Here's the new stuff that's point, and it redirects your resources to the new stuff and analyzing those. So that's why you want to leverage that. So it's technically not an issue, but you should do it because it makes sense. Let's see. Christopher, a question. Keywords everywhere is cheap. Is a cheap keyword tool? Yeah, Search Console. Yeah, Keywords Everywhere is a if you guys don't know, is a Chrome extension. I'm not sure if it's got Firefox, but I know for sure it's Chrome. That's where I use it. And you pay them for some credits, and then they give you the search volume. Not only in the search results, but you can get them from YouTube. You can go to People Also Ask, and some of it will pop up there. And there's a bunch of other places where that plugin fires off and shows you search volume. So that's a really good tool as well. Good. Thanks for reminding me, Christopher. Alrighty, let's go to the next one. Stupid Windows. Here you go. I am getting heaps of spam backlinks starting to appear. Should I just ignore them? And some first in context, I'm starting to get a lot of links to appear from forum user profiles. When you view the page as linking, it's full of links to all kinds of sites, and a lot of it is to sites which offer ripped software. Should I do something about these or just ignore them? So this is a good question. And I did a video, I think I did a couple of videos on the disavow tool and going through this because Digitaleer got hit, right? So we were ranking for page speed optimization service. I had the featured snippet and everything. Wasn't a lot of honestly, there wasn't a whole lot of traffic there. Like the featured snippet, and I maybe get 1 or 2 visits a month from having a featured snippet and from the number 1 position for page speed optimization and page speed optimization service. And then a whole bunch of people came in and they wanted to rank for it, and they pushed me out of there. But I was okay because I'm not doing page speed optimization for everybody. I'm specifically targeting WordPress. And I changed my optimization of the page to WordPress speed optimization services. I think that's what it is. Anyway, a lot of people were actually in that market, and then there's someone now that is going through that entire list of the search results and blasting them. Now, I'm not sure whether it's intentional or unintentional. It may be just, they're just making these mass sites willy-nilly, which I don't have a problem with, and ultimately linking to sites that are already ranking, ergo trying to piggyback some of the trust because, look, I referenced this site that's already ranking, right? So ergo my content has to be about that thing. It's a theory. Unfortunately, what it does is that actually hurts you, especially if you're not building links actively. If you're not building backlinks to your pages, or you're not building a lot of backlinks to your pages, you are definitely susceptible for these kind of backlinks. Do not believe the hype where they say, oh, Google's going to see them and ignore them. I can tell you for the fact, when you go from 4 to 98 because these backlinks showed up and that's the only thing that happened to the page, Google's not filtering out these backlinks. They're not ignoring them. They're paying damn good attention to them, and they're frying they roasted my page. So I have a couple of videos you can look on the channel about how I go about doing a disavow and building that, and I recommend that you do the same. I used to be on the camp of just let it go until there's an issue, but now you need to be on top of the stuff. It won't recover a lot of your losses. Again, I went from page 1 top 5 to 40s, and then I get the disavow 25ish, and then back and forth and bouncing up and down, in and out now, just by using the disavow thing. So yeah, use it, stay on top of it, be careful with it, because this stuff is working, and there's a lot of people telling people not to build these files and putting a lot of trust in Google. But, I trust my success to no one. I'm responsible for it. And if the success of my website is dependent on its link profile, then I'm responsible for it. And I should be building a disavow file to make sure that it's as clean as possible and let Google, from that point, decide what they're going to do with those backlinks and stuff. And that is a lot more prudent than just ignoring it. Okay, let's go to one more, I think. That's it. Yes, I'm done. Yay. All right, so we can do questions now. Someone tried to call in already, and I hung up on him. But we can do questions now. So 888-586-1680. 888-586-1680 is toll free. I will hear your voice. We will talk to you. Everyone else will hear your voice. So it's going to be awesome, in my opinion. Okay. And with that, while we're waiting on that, if anyone doesn't want it, if you guys don't want to call in, don't worry about it. I appreciate you, but I think calling in would be cool. But otherwise, ask your questions in the chat, and we'll be good. Let's see. Jeff, there it is. Jeff Meekin, from a Google penalty point of view, how much can you use scraped content? Healthcare industry, not pharma. I would be in healthcare. I'd be a little bit careful with that. Because I think if any niche where eat is actual a thing, it would be healthcare, and not in particular the concept, but the things that it would be looking for. So, and if you're using scraped content, and Google's databases for healthcare are bounced really high off of one another, that could be an issue. Alrighty, so let's try this out. Hello, caller. Can you hear me? Hello, caller.
Can you hear me?
There we go. I got you. How you doing?
I'm well. How are you?
Good. I'm good. What's your name?
My name's Connor.
Connor. Hey, thanks for calling in, Connor. Appreciate you. You're the first one.
Yes. Yeah. Sorry, I jumped the gun. I didn't realize I tried to get on the line before you were done talking.
That's all right. I get the phone right next to me. And I just hung up on you. And I was smart. I put it on vibrate first, so no one else knew. So, what's your question?
So, I have a question about what you think on the short-term SEO benefits of applying mass internal links to some some assets that I didn't know our company had, but recently discovered. So, a little quick context: just being I manage a content team for a company in the software as a service space. And we do, we're all on B2B. So it's, we have some technical, we have a technical education site on the side for our user base that was set up by our product team. It's basically just a support subdomain. And I didn't realize that it was actually starting to rank for a lot of long tail keywords and get traffic to it already and all that. But it's, it's in the subdomain. It's already got some links to our actual money pages, but what would you think is like the short term, let's say like 1 to 3 month benefit of just applying links to a ton of pages like that, even if they aren't quality yet? And what we're doing is, gradually 2 or 3 posts per week, trying to improve the quality so they're actually, that more valuable to the traffic coming in.
Yeah. So what do you define as a ton? So, and the reason I bring that up is there's a point of no return from internal links. And it depends on the site and et cetera. So you got to really find it for your website. So I know for Digitaleer, for example, when I'm trying to rank city SEO stuff, 4 or 5 supporting pages, and Google's probably is at that point has kind of had enough of it, right? So you need to figure out what that number is for your site. Now you're going from subdomain to regular domain. which is essentially that's two different websites linking to it. So you're not necessarily bound by that rule, but there is again a point of no return where you're building that the subdomain to the main domain where you're going to stop seeing benefit from it. So you don't necessarily have to go too crazy with that. As for the newly discovered traffic stuff, I love doing that because there's the search console trick that I was talking about, right? And I do that all the time for my rehab clients. And essentially, we're looking for new opportunities and we're chasing trends. So, and trends that you would not necessarily know to look for is how you get, how you leverage that search console stuff. So, in your case, you've found it, but it's, even though it's on accident. And so I look through at impressions versus click through rate versus where I'm at. So if I'm on position, and this is an example, say you're position 11, top of page 2, and you got 10,000 impressions. Imagine how much you could get if you pushed it over to page 1. Because what was it? What is the crazy number? Like 7% or so of somebody that goes to page 2? I think that number is getting higher now. But if 7% of the traffic that Google search is going to page 2 and seeing yours and that your page, and that page results in 10,000 extra impressions, then imagine if you're on page 1. So now is it worthwhile to actually go after that keyword and build either A, new content, or B, supplement existing content with a little bit of optimization to capture that. So it's hopefully I answered your question. Did I get everything? Because there was a lot there.
You touched on a bunch of actually really interesting points. So just to follow up though, so when you say diminishing returns on those internal links, so, and you brought the referral site. So we actually have a referral site too so we have a few different domains that are getting traffic and they have a ton of those, those sweet spot keywords. They have a ton of pages that are, just ready to, with a quick little update can burst onto page 1 because they're all, they're hanging out from spot 9 to 30 and they haven't been touched for 4 years. And so, but would there be diminishing returns if those links are consistently going to specific, like targeted pages that are related to each page versus, mass directing several of them to a handful of pages?
In that case, it's website to website, so you'd be okay. That'll keep going. So as long as website A is linking the website B and website A is getting traffic and backlinks on its own, it'll increase the value of those backlinks, ergo improving the promotion of website B. Does that make sense? So versus the diminishing return would be website B, and you found a whole bunch of new cool pages and there's this new resource and it's getting traffic, and then you use one of those stupid plugins that turns every word on your website into a backlink for that page that you set it to. That would probably not have a whole lot of value for you. It might count like 4 or 5 of those, but at the end of the day, it just wouldn't do what you think it's doing, right? So that's what I mean by diminishing returns. There is an old SEO theory out there that, let's say I get a backlink for Medium, because we mentioned Medium, and at some point the backlinks wouldn't mean as much because I got a whole bunch of them. There is that theory out there, but that's never been proven or disproven to be actually true. So I would just keep going until you just stop noticing that they're helping anymore. And then build some tiers to those. And if it doesn't help it anymore, then you got to think of new opportunities. So
awesome. That's an awesome answer. And then just last comment, man, is a big fan of you and Ted and Kyle, and you guys have been my main influences in SEO for a long time now. And so just the old test you ran, and I think a couple of years ago, showed that adding your more detailed schema templates to your pages seemed to be a positive boost to those links, like for those target pages too.
Yep.
Do you think that's still the case, or like would that be something that you would still keep in like a quick hit list best practices?
I would continue to do your schema. I would continue to focus on same as, and I would look at your, and it's for everybody, do a test and see if you guys duplicate this test with me. I put pages in my same as that did not link from my test pages or from my control pages to my test page, other than the same as. It was in the same as URL, and those came up as backlinks in the Google Search Console. So I think schema is going to be even more important going in the future. Is there a rank benefit? I'm still testing that out, but I'm seeing the backlink there. You know what I mean? So we just have to see if there's going to be a rank benefit of that too. So not only is advanced schema, like real advanced schema, I'm not talking about doing some templates and connecting them with that idea. I'm talking about doing real advanced schema. And you know the type of schema that I teach how to do. So doing that in conjunction with some smart use of same as could be the game changer in the future here. I just got to test it out and prove it.
That's awesome. I can't wait. One of my direct reports, she does her schema templates based off your course that she went through. So didn't know that backlink thing in Search Console. I can't wait to go look into it with her.
Sweet. Awesome.
Thanks for taking my call, man.
Yep. Thank you for calling in. Woohoo. First caller. That was awesome. I appreciate you. That was a great conversation. I like it. I like it because you can ask and answer questions and actually have a conversation versus you guys just listening to me. Blah, blah, blah. Right? So it works out. Let's see. Connor, how do you approach near me keyword when you're trying to rank in the results outside of the local pack? You're talking about map stuff, and you have to clarify this. So I'm going to go on the assumption that you're actually talking about maps and getting that, because local pack to me is maps. And I don't do a lot of map stuff anymore. As a matter of fact, I just got tired of it, right? So, and the reason is I worked with Over the Top SEO. We were good at the agency is good at maps. They're creating maps left and right, and we were fortunate enough to have franchise accounts, and so basically, especially in the markets that we're in, they're watched really closely already. We have franchise accounts. We're creating, opening real businesses in real locations and stuff, and we'd spend all this time optimizing and getting the reviews and doing all the stuff that everyone told us, oh, this is what you got to do for backlinks, or linking this into them and getting proximity and doing all that stuff. And then the competition will go in there and report the maps as fake, or write articles and say that the maps are fake and get the maps taken down. And it's just this rinse and repeat over and over and over again. And honestly, just not for me. I'm not about doing work over and over again. It's just dumb. So I'm probably the wrong guy to ask for a lot of this map stuff. Now, Connor, he updated and said in the regular results. So do you remember the big craze? Was it Alex? What's his name? Angel Cruz. He did that near me course. Google did a blog post that kind of triggered this in the SEO community, saying, hey, we're focusing on near me searches and all that stuff. And they became less important when Google got better at proximity and figuring out proximity. And I air quote better, because they're finding your city and stuff. But for the most part, in those types of searches, you end up with a directory, Home Advisor, Angie's List, Yelp, and that kind of stuff. And it's by design. And I've talked about that and why Google's got that by design. It's all about the Benjamins for them, right? So when you're actually targeting those near me things, like roofers near me, for example, you really kind of get those on accident. You don't get them specifically because they're too general and they're too local specific. So if you have a roofer's website, and it's all through like Phoenix, Scottsdale, Tempe, may have all these locations. And and someone searches those near me, depending on where you ranked for Phoenix Roofer is kind of where you're going to show up in the near me search. Unfortunately, that's just kind of how it works. You can push that along a little bit with anchor text and backlinking, or mention it inside of your H2 and H3 tags, and get a little bit better at optimizing those specifically. But because of how the algorithm works, because of proximity, it's kind of a hit and miss thing. We do in the rehab market, there's near me searches send us a lot of traffic. But they're not because we optimize them for it. It's just because we're literally near the searcher, and we had a page that's relevant for that, and they got that specific page. There's no rhyme or reason. There's no one page that is ranking for those. It's the one that's closest to that locale. So you got to be a little bit careful when you're actually going after that. Unless you're following like the Angel Cruise diagram, and I think that's probably 2 or 3 years old now. And I haven't even seen any of these websites ranking, but it was like the near me directories, and Google kind of squashed those when they got popular with SEOs anyway. So hopefully that helps. If you're listening, again, we have the phone. We already had our first caller, and it was awesome. 888-586-1680. Let me put it right there. There we go. You can hit the like button. It's coming. It'll scroll through. All right, let's see. Christopher, would you ever use the term buy or the product prices on product page titles, or is that too on the nose? Buy product X for $19.99. It depends on your the competition, right? So no one's really doing it. But if you know that everyone else is charging $15 and you're only charging $9.99, that's a good CTR booster. It may be temporary, but it'll be good for CTR. You can just kind of bump ahead of that. Or let's say that everyone else has the price snippets and your website doesn't. For whatever reason, Google hates you and doesn't want to give you the price snippets, and you see that everyone's in that $15 to $20 range. You can use your title and go after them, and they'll see the price rich snippet inside the search results, $15, $20 across the board, and then there's you sitting there at $9.99. That's how that would benefit. Is there a SEO benefit? Probably not, but the CTR would help you out for sure, and help. If anything, you get a temporary boost of traffic until people caught on to what you did. So I say go for it. Do it. Let's see. Any other questions? So far, no. Clint, I'm in the UK. Not sure. Easy to call. I don't know. I think that would be probably pretty expensive for me, Christopher. There's another service that I thought about using, and Craig Baldwin. Is that his name? I'm crap with names, but I did a podcast with him the other day, and he had this cool system, and he's only using the audio stuff, but it's kind of like Restream, which if you all don't know, I've talked about Restream before. I'm using that to stream to Facebook and Twitter and YouTube all at the same time. So it's kind of like that, but it also has call-in features like I get with the Rode, which is what I'm using now. But it's over the internet. It's a voice over internet protocol, VoIP. And I was thinking about that, Christopher, for your exact situation. You're in the UK. I know Everhart's in Australia. So, and I want to talk to you guys, right? So I may switch to that because I kind of like it. So I may do that. I know people have mentioned the Discord thing. Just don't feel like trying to figure out another stupid chat tool. I deleted a WhatsApp. I deleted Telegram. I deleted a bunch of others. I wanted to get entirely off of Skype, but there's just so many like real business people that are using Skype that I have to keep it. And I have Slack. I have a Discord, and I'm in a couple of Discord groups, but I open that thing probably only when I get an email from the groups that I'm in Discord, or I sign up to a new one. So, and I just Just don't want to learn it right now. If you guys know an easy resource or an easy video where, a big dumb animal like me can figure it out in like 15 minutes, send it my way. I'll test it out. We'll try it. If it works, why not, right? We'll see how it is. Let's see, Elton. I got 4 more minutes. Good question, Elton. Can you share more on blog spots? Do they hurt your site or just don't help it at all? So what Elton is referencing is a test that I did in search engine SIA, SEO Intelligence Agency. That's a group where I publish all my testing stuff. It's paid, so go to SEOintel.com if you want to check it out, if you're not already a member. But what he's referring to is a test that I did on Web 2.0s, because a lot of people were saying, hey, Web 2.0s don't work. We know they don't work, etc. And I was, at the time, getting results to Blogspot, right? So I knew that they were wrong. But when we did the test, it was right after the December 2020 update. That's when I fired that off. And before that, I hadn't built any in quite some time. But in December 2020, after that, I fired off this test, and Blogspot literally destroyed the test pages. And it's still that way. So there have been some updates in the core algorithm, 3 of them, as a matter of fact. And there's still one that was just finishing or now finishing, but all the test results tests are still running. From March till now, these tests are still running, and those pages are still either de-indexed, they demoted the test page, or it had 0 effect whatsoever. There is not one version of this Blogspot test that I actually did that said, hey, this is good for you. You should keep doing it. All of them were a wash, or they hurt your site. So my recommendation to the SIA members and my recommendation for you guys is to not be building Blogspots and linking to your website. If you want to do parasite SEO, Blogspots are still ranking really well on their own. Just don't build any backlinks to your money sites, and then you'll be all right. Okay, let's see. And then the last comment, since Connor called in, we'll leave it with him, right? So thanks for taking my call. Can't wait to show the team your same as tip. Much appreciated. My pleasure. I think that's awesome. I think it is an indication that Schema is going to go a lot further. Again, it's a lot more than just doing templates. It's a lot more than just using the ad ID and connecting them together and making 50 shades of Kevin Bacon. It's about being smart, putting the right things in the right place inside of your schema to help the machine understand what your page is about. Machines are reading your pages. They're not reading your content and understanding it. They're seeing the words. It's just words. And it's translated to ones and zeros, and it's computing all that stuff, putting it all together, and using schema to optimize that a whole lot better helps you win the day. So that's the final comment for the day. I hope you appreciate the show. Tell your friends. 2 o'clock Mountain Standard Time, Arizona time. It's specifically Arizona time, because we don't do daylight saving times. All you suckers get to lose sleep and gain sleep. We don't do it. So 2 o'clock every Monday, 888-586-1680 will be the number. Call in, ask your questions. Pretty soon I'll have the form on digitaleer.com. You can ask your questions there. Otherwise, I don't know, ask some questions inside of Reddit, and maybe I'll find it there. But I hope you appreciate the show. Again, Connor, thank you for being the inaugural phone call person, and I appreciate you. And I'm glad to know that everything worked out. And I'll see you all next week.